Okay, video 3. This is going to be a long one because there is a lot of stuff to cover. So this is going to be about the 3DS. This bad boy. This isn't actually my first 3DS. This is my second one. My first one had a multitude of problems. The 3D slider would stop working. I had a battery pack on the back because I actually played it so much. Look at that. This was the first Nintendo handheld with one of these. A stick instead of this garbage nonsense. Why even put this on here when you have this? Still looks nice today. So these were the first two games I got. A Lego Pirates of the Caribbean game and The Sims 3, which the only way to play The Sims 3 is on PS3. PC, garbage as well. So I'm going to be doing cuts because I don't want these games to get out of order because I'm actually incredibly, what's the proper word here? My fiance likes to say that I'm particular about what order my games go in, but that's only for this console because I put them in the order I got them. And every other game on here has an order. I don't know why this is there. That's not even a game. So I'm going to be doing cuts in between bunches of games so that I don't mess up the order. And also because I can't fit them all on my bed, which is what I'm laying them on because it's the only surface close enough to my games that I can lay stuff on. So I'll see you after the cut. So next up we have Super Street Fighter 3D Edition. Super Street Fighter 4, the 900th time they re-released this game. It came in this, I don't know, thing. I don't know what it's called, but if you do that, it makes that annoying sound people don't like. And underneath is actually the same thing, just without this scratchy bit. Yeah, this looks kind of beaten up, jeez. So there's that game. I don't really have a lot to say about these first couple of games because they're available on lots of other consoles, so there's not a lot of uniqueness there. Lego Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars episode Disappointment. This game is way too short for $40, which is what I paid for it. Next up we have The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. Ocarina is the correct way to say it. This is one of, well, not this version personally. I like the Nintendo 64 version better, or the GameCube remaster better. But Ocarina of Time is one of the best games of all time, and it's going to have an entire video dedicated to it later on. I don't actually own the Nintendo 64 version, so I'm going to be going off of what I remember playing it and the remaster. But before I start rambling, we're going to cut to the next set of games. Samurai Warriors Chronicles is basically a game where you run around a field and kill all of your enemies. It's got some interesting history in it. I remember playing this game a lot on the bus ride to and from school because I lived 45 minutes away from school, so an hour and a half each day. And you're going to come to find out that there's a lot of hours banked on these 3DS games. I played it a lot, hence the aforementioned battery pack. So next up we have The Sims 3 Pets, which I actually remember, this game came out like almost immediately after The Sims 3 on 3DS. Typical EA. It's basically just a better version of The Sims 3 on 3DS with pets. Not really a lot to say about it. Next we have one of the 900 Harvest Moon games, Tale of Two Towns. I don't really have a whole lot of memory of playing this game. The series kind of fizzled out after the GameCube games, in my opinion. I might do a separate video about that. We'll see. It's not one of the ones I have set in stone. I don't think I have a lot to add or talk about to Harvest Moon in general. So I don't think I'll be doing that, but maybe. Next up, we have Mario Kart 7. This is actually a game that people thought they could put into their DS on my bus ride. You can't. That was, yep, my feet were just That was gross. Mario Kart 7. I played this a decent amount while on the bus as well. Next up, we have Super Mario 3D Land, and I was actually really, really good at this game. I remember being very, very good at this game. I'm just going to put that in the frame. Very, very good at this game. Well, I thought it was, because I was able to beat a bunch of kids slightly younger than me on most of the levels for records, because you can play against people who use Street Pass, which is a 3DS feature. That was kind of cool. I mean, Street Pass was like this thing, or it is this thing where you pass someone with the 3DS on in their pocket and you swap some data. But no one's going to have that in their pocket because we live in an age of cell phones. But I think the first level of this game in particular, I was really good at. Like, I could beat it in such little time that it was like I knew it as well as the back of my hand. And here we have our first impulse buy game of the console. Garbage game. Don't buy it. And next we have two games I was incredibly excited for. Tales of the Abyss. At the time that I got this game, the only way to play this was on a PS2, and I was a Nintendo junkie, so I was incredibly excited for this game. I beat it probably 10 or 11 times. I have over 300 hours clocked on this game. I will be talking about this game a little more in depth in a later video. And second, I called these two actually the dual releases because this one came out in February and this one came out in March. And I was rushing to get this game done before this one came out. But this one came out and I got it, and I ended up just playing this one. Great games. This game was the first Kid Icarus game in like 20 years, not accounting for his appearance in Smash Brawl. But yeah, this game was incredible. It came with the stand, all this cool stuff. I actually have the stand somewhere still. I don't know where it is, but it came in this little box, and I actually have the box up here. You can see it there. Yeah, great game. My brother can't finish it because he's left-handed, and it's made for right-handed people because you'll use the pen like this, and he's left-handed, so he was never able to play it. These two games. This game I only played for about 30 hours. This one, probably 10 times that. Next up, we got another Lego game. This one's nothing special. I remember not being able to find one of the collectibles. Even though I had the collectible finder on, I would stand right above where it was supposed to be and could never find it, so whatever. Impulse Buy. This game was one of the many games that was like, oh, we can do 3D, how cool. It's a puzzle game that goes from 2D to 3D, but if you do it wrong, you get crushed and you gotta start again. Oh, I just noticed that it might not be crushed 3D, it might be crushed, but with the 3. How zany. Next we have Asphalt 3D, the crappy handheld racing garbage game that cheats all the time. You can be driving as good as you want, and you'll clip nothing, and police will come after you, and it doesn't matter how fast your car is or how much boost you have or anything. The police always go 20 kilometers an hour faster than you, and their cars are 10 times more durable, as they are in real life. Next up, we have Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. Great game. I actually remember playing this pretty much in its entirety without a guide. I remember finding lots of the collectibles, lots of the different items by myself. I remember having to look up how to do one of the puzzles in the last dungeon, though, because I just could not get it. Probably because I was distracted by other things at the time. As all teenagers are, not able to focus on things. This game, Fire Emblem Awakening, was the last game I actually bought before I needed a new 3DS, because the B button and the 3D slider stopped working. This game was great. It's a Japanese RPG. It's one of those games where they didn't fully voice act everything, but they'd put in sounds of them like grunting or going yes and stuff. So I actually would play without sound because that was incredibly annoying. Coming up on the end of the stack here, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. This was actually one of the first Kingdom Hearts games I played, and the second one I actually owned. Not the biggest, or something in here is heavy. Not the biggest fan of Kingdom Hearts. I like the game, but games, they're just not really my cup of tea. What the heck is in here that's weighing like so much? Well, I don't know, but now I gotta put all this junk away. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about this game in particular. In the game, when you drop, you switch between characters, and I found that kind of interesting. It added some intensity to fights, because if you were in the middle of a fight and you were about to deal the finishing blow and you switch to the other guy, everything could change. So you'd have to spend, an hour or whatever playing as the other guy, just waiting. Am I going to win the boss fight, or are they? A lot of people didn't like it, but whatever. Next, we have another Harvest Moon game. I think this was the last one they released under the title Harvest Moon before the company responsible for making this decided to basically split apart, and now they go under something else. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I don't remember playing this one a lot either. I like how all the games advertise the exact same thing. This is what I mentioned earlier with this series just kind of losing its focus. Next up we have Heroes of Ruin. You could basically compare this to one of those crappy... Well, this one was okay. It was a little dull, but one of those crappy mobile grind games where you go through a dungeon and just get loot. They give you enough save spaces to play as all 4, maybe 5 of the characters, because they want you to do that. Yeah. Next up is Animal Crossing: A New Leaf. The first, and I think only Animal Crossing game I own, and that I've played. I spent a ridiculous amount of time playing this game. It goes like 300, 400 hours, again on the bus. It progresses in regular time, so when I would play it in the morning on the bus, I wouldn't be able to do anything because it would be like 7:30, and all the characters in the game would be asleep. But yeah, I remember abusing the internal clock of the 3DS to progress. Yeah, this was a great game. I spent a lot of time. I was trying to think of a bigger word. A lot of time playing this game. A lot of time. And I don't regret it for a second. Just looking at it makes me want to play it, but unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time for gaming right now because I am working 2 jobs and going to school. And that's actually what this series is for. It's for a school project. So, yeah. Yeah. I will be getting back into gaming very, very soon, though. I'm done school in 2 months, and I will be quitting one of my jobs to find a career and focus on my other job. So, that'll be great. I might actually revisit this game, that, and a few other ones. Next up, we have Pokemon 10. Just kidding. Pokemon X. This... I don't remember why I bought this. I have other Pokemon games, but they're just really not my thing. Random battles and turn-based combat. I don't know. I think this game had selective 3D. Like, it only had 3D in certain places. 'Cause I think they made it available on the DS for those normies who didn't upgrade. I don't really have a lot to say about this one. I think my younger brother has Y, and my older brother has X, and they'll sometimes joke about forgetting the game at the other one's house and not being able to battle and stuff. And then we have the last game, Fantasy Life, which is basically it's kind of like a Harvest Moon, but with fighting in it, but less focused on farming and more on just exploring. If you've ever played the game RuneScape, it's kind of like that, or heard about the game RuneScape. It's kind of like that, except portable, single player, and um, more geared towards children, I guess. And that's actually the last 3DS game I have. I thought I had more, but yeah. And one last look at this sleek beast. This one actually still has the code on the back, which, fun fact, if your 3DS ever breaks, make sure this thing's on the back for when you send it in, because otherwise you're kind of screwed. I remember peeling off my last one because I'm an idiot, but yeah, that's all for this one. This has been episode 3. See you next time.